One of the reasons that people cite for why they don't like Legend of Korra is usually based on the fact that there is a love triangle in season 1 and season 2. And honestly, I can kind of get it. Love triangles aren't for everyone, but the amount of dislike for it, well, this love triangle really wasn't as bad as people think. Now, before you click off this video or write a hateful comment, this is my opinion, you know, just putting it out there because apparently some people have not realised that these videos are my opinion. Just putting this here now before I get some hate in the comments. Now, the love triangle in Legend of Korra, yes, didn't need to be there. But in comparison to most other love triangles in fiction and in films and TV shows, this one really isn't that big of a deal. Book 2, okay, I'll give it to you. A little bit ridiculous there, but in book 1 specifically, it really isn't as prevalent as people think it is. And these are just some of the reasons why it's not, you know, that bad. First up is the fact that it subverted one of the biggest tropes in love triangles. The girls, who are both vying for the boy's attention, firstly aren't actually fully vying for his attention to take his attention away from the other girl, nor do they hate the other girl. This is a big thing that usually pops up in most tropes, is that the two people vying for that one person's affection hate each other. But Korra and Asami don't do that. Korra does think she's a bit prissy at one point, but she also thinks she's beautiful, and she gets over that pretty quickly, because at this point, when she says that, she's not really met Asami. She's only met her for the first time. When they get to know each other, they come across as friends. Well, okay, acquaintances maybe, but they're more friendly than you would expect for two people who like the same boy. As well as the fact that even Asami says, look, I like Korra, and she puts the blame on Moko specifically, because he is the one who is looking at both girls. So that trope is immediately subverted because they still like each other and they don't blame each other for the boy's actions. You know, pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. Another one, which I think is one that for some reason people think does happen, even though it doesn't. The love triangle is not the main plot of the story. If anything, it doesn't even get involved with the main plot. It has its moments here and there, but it's still a secondary, even, what's the term? No, thirdly, wouldn't. It's not even a secondary plot, basically is what I'm trying to say here. It doesn't have any involvement with the main story. It doesn't take precedent over the actual plot of the series. It's just kind of there. Which is something that most love triangles are like intrinsic to the plot. This one really isn't. It has its moments here and there, like I said, but usually in episodes where the love triangle pops up, there's nothing really happening with the main story, like the pro-bending thing to do with Bolin, Mako, Korra, and a little bit of Asami, but mainly those three. That was more of a filler episode than one that was actually plot-based. So it's not taking precedent, it's a filler. But this is something I've definitely heard a lot of people say. They think the love triangle was the main plot, but it's not, at least to me. Although I do admit in book 2 it kind of becomes a little bit more. But the only excuse I give to that was that book 2 was a rushed story because they suddenly had to come up with a plot in under a year and had to rush it out. So I kind of give them a little bit more to that of, you know, I can forgive you for this. But yeah, it's a little bit more prevalent in book 2. I will give people that. Book 2, it's a little bit more prevalent. And the third one, I don't know if this is technically the last one, I guess. It honestly made a lot of sense. It was just a natural consequence of teenage budding relationships, all of whom were immature in terms of, well, a little bit both in personality, but also they don't have the experience of relationships, so they're going to be clumsy and messy and just a little bit awkward. That's just the natural consequence of being a teenager. I'm the most raging homosexual that I know. Well, actually no, there may be a few that probably top me, but not like that. But even I, during my height of, you know, denial, got into a few love triangles myself. Admittedly, more because I was like, if I like someone who likes someone else, there is no chance whatsoever we can end up together. So it works out well for me. Wait, Asami and Korra get together? Oh, could it be? It's my headcanon now, so yes it is. Korra and Asami only liked Mako because they thought maybe that would hide their bisexuality. God, I hate myself. So yeah, just as a whole, the fact that there was this sort of awkward, clumsy, messy triangle relationship between Mako, Korra, Asami, and a little bit of Bolin here and there just makes sense for teenagers who don't have any experience in relationships. It is going to be messy as anything. And just kind of as a whole, yeah, it was annoying. I'm not going to deny that. The love triangle was annoying, but I'm just not a fan. Unless... oh my god, I'm such a nerd. If it was like a full, you know, gay, bisexual, queer love triangle, I'd be all for it. But that's because I'm a little bit pathetic. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of love triangles. Most people aren't. But in this case, in comparison to most other live love triangles, this one was just, you know, it just kind of made sense. It was natural for teenagers. They weren't pitted against each other, which I think is the thing that I love the most. The girls weren't pitted against each other. Mako wasn't pitted against them. Like, there was no hatred of each other because of what was going on, which is amazing and never normally happens. So I'm here for it. And the main final thing as well is that it just didn't detract from the main story. I think that was the most important thing, is that it doesn't stop the story from happening. It's there, but it doesn't take precedence, except for maybe a little bit in book 2. But maybe I'll get to that in another video. If you guys are interested, you know, just let me know down below. But yeah, the love triangle, dumb as it was, really isn't as bad as most people make it out to be. What do you guys think? What do you think of the love triangle in Legend of Korra? Do you really think it's not as big of a deal as people make it out to be? Or do you think just as a whole it was... Okay, it was kind of dumb, but do you really think it was... like, it made the show worse? Because... okay. Whatever, okay, so let me know in the comment section down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly do appreciate it. In the description box, you'll find the links to all of my social media, my merchandise store, and my Patreon, where if you want to support me, that is the place to do so. And you know, it's 2021. Be a nice New Year present? I don't know. Anyway, again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Skadoosh.